Hi, my name is Heather Westlake. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I wanted to show you how to make an open panel card. It's also called a peekaboo card. I've seen it both ways. It has a piece of window sheet there so you can kind of see through it, and it gives it some stability to be able to have a bottom on the front as well. So this is the card I'm actually going to be making, but I also wanted to show you another sample. This one I made with some pieces that go with the Free as a Bird stamp set, which is this one, and some of the designer series paper that matches it. Has some really pretty flowers that I actually fussy cut out of the designer paper, and then a sentiment on the inside. But this is the one we're going to be making today, and it has words from Peaceful Moments, which is in the current Stampin' Up! Mini catalog, but will be carrying over to the new annual catalog in June. It also has dies that match, and that's what I used to make the flower with, and that's from the Poppy Moments dies. So let's go ahead and get started. Here are the dimensions that you're going to need. If you need to pause the video right now to write those down, I have them there for you. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and carry on. So the base is actually made out of Pool Party, and it's already scored here at the top. So this is how the card is lined up. This will be our top here with this fold on that. And here's the window sheet. Sometimes it's hard to find when you've cut it and it's laying around. I'll go ahead and put some adhesive here to attach that. Just a little piece in the middle and then both ends. Pretty important that this is lined up straight and flush with the bottom, so I'm just going to tap it on the counter there and then fold this down just so that's nice and even. And then press firmly so that's attached. And what that'll do, that'll lift up. That'll be the front of our card. But we also want to have that other piece at the bottom. So I've got it here, and I've already got some adhesive on it. So what I'd like to do to make sure it's lined up, I'm just going to set it here flat on the table and then line it up as best I can with that. And again, press firmly, and then that'll give that some stability. However, on the inside, I do not like that the adhesive is showing, so there's some strips that I put there. Actually, once I cut them, I put them aside with a paper clip on them so I wouldn't get them confused with this bottom piece that needs to be on there. So now I can go ahead and take that paper clip off and put some adhesive on. Those are two different sizes. The smaller one will go, of course, at the top, and then the bigger one at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get those with some adhesive on them really quick, just to make the inside of the card look nice and finished. I'm just going to center that as best I can, and it pretty much covers up the adhesive that I used for those. The next pieces on the sample card you can actually see I embossed with dry embossing folder with crumb cake, and went through the brick wall embossing folder, and then I took the Sahara sand with a sponge and just daubed some on there, and then just rubbed it over the top. It kind of makes those bricks pop out a little bit more. It gets stuck on the edges where the cardstock is raised up, and then you can kind of see that a little bit better. So I've done it a little bit. I wanted to do it a little bit more just to show you what I was doing. So you can do that as much as you like. Again, those are two different sizes, and so I just want to be sure that I put the smaller one at the top and then the larger one at the bottom. Because they're embossed, they're a little bit harder to stick, so I went ahead and put some of our tear-in tape on the back already. That's great stuff, really strong for times that you need stronger adhesive, especially perhaps if you're making a box or something like that. It's great for that. And you just peel off the backing. It's kind of waxy paper, and you just peel it off, and then you're good to go. But the thing that's great about it is you don't have to use scissors to cut it. You can just tear it, thus its name, tear-in tape, and then you can just go to town instead of having to use scissors, and then they get all gummy and sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off and put those down. Just deciding to put where it's a little bit darker with the ink at the right where it will show. So there again is our sample card for what we're kind of looking for. Some of the things you want to remember when you go to put this card together is to be sure not to cover the back of anything that you're going to put on the front with adhesive or anything, because it will show through the window sheet there. So I've just put adhesive right at the top of this. This is actually Blackberry Bliss. So I'm going to just go ahead and set that down here. The designer series paper I used for this was the Peaceful Poppy, so I went ahead and cut this out, and then this is the detail that goes over the top of it. Again, I was trying to be really careful to just put the adhesive right down the middle so that there wouldn't be anything showing here. As notice, this is a little bit wider than the frame is there. So I've already taken care of that. I also have some leaves that I've run through the die cutting machine, and also some little leaves that I did with seafoam through a punch. One of the punches that's being retired. It's one of the leaf punches, so I kind of just folded these to make them look a little more realistic. They're usually not quite that flat in real life. And I decided I wanted the bigger leaves at the bottom and then the smaller leaves up at the top. And I actually cut part of the bottom of them off. I didn't need quite as much as came with that, so I'm just going to trim that. And I am going to get a little mini glue dot. The great thing about them is to not touch them with your fingers. Just touch the thing that you want to stick to the glue dot and let it pull it off there. And then that way you don't have to try to get it off your fingers for the rest of the day. And then I don't need quite as much of this either, so I'm going to go ahead and trim the bottom off of that. And again, let a mini glue dot hold that biggest leaf at the bottom. For these other leaves, I did put them on top of that, and I actually just used a little piece of my tape here to hold that down. Once I got it set where I wanted, I just used a little piece of tape because I knew the flower would cover that up eventually. And same with this one. Then my background can go ahead and go down here for my poppy flower. And the top, the detailed image is a little bit more fragile, so I'm going to go ahead and put, there's two pieces that are a little bit wider. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the edges up of those with a glue dot where it's wider. Tuck in any piece that's hanging over, and then just use a couple here in the middle to make this center stick. We also have fine tip glue that you can use on these really thin edges if you feel like something's sticking up and you don't like it that way and want it to be a little more attached. You can feel free to use your fine tip glue to do that with. And then I cut out a center as well, and we'll go ahead and put it on with a mini glue dot as well. So you don't have to put anything on the inside, but it seems to pop a little bit more when you have a white inside there as contrast. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And I am going to go ahead and kind of get an idea where I want to stamp my words. I think I'm going to go ahead and attach it just for ease of sake to be able to see through the window where I need the words to go. So I'm kind of heading for centering it right in between this space, up and down. The words I used were Happy Birthday, and the color I used was the Blackberry Bliss to match the label that we have there, and then the center on the poppies. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to go ahead and use this line on my grid paper behind it just as an idea where I need to stamp it as far as centering it that way. Press down firmly and straight back up. And we're good to go. So again, this is called either an open panel card or a peekaboo card. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.